Good afternoon, our viewers. Once again, you're most welcome to the Youth Roundtable that is brought to you by Civic Space TV and sponsored by Center for Constitutional Governance. With me today is a panel of ladies and gentlemen, and our topic for discussion today are the presidential elections, campaigns, and the satires of the 1995 Constitution. Joining us today are comrades that some are very familiar with us on the show, but also a guest who is joining us for the very first time on the Youth Roundtable. I will start from my immediate left to go with introductions. One of my great comrades, Nasasira Kwizera, is a lawyer. You're most welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ivan. I am so humbled this afternoon to be here as a guest. Gentlemen, I last saw you when we were trying to be trained how to cook and shoot. I would not delve too much into that, but I'm happy to again see you today.
Wow, it is a pleasure. You know, we are one of the few younger Ugandans who went for the gun. The gun of now, not of 86. Joining us today is someone from the Hill. The Hill at the Youth Roundtable is referred as Makerere University. Janet Kanini, a student from Makerere University. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Akatkunda Janet Kanini from Makerere University, College of Natural Science. It is my first time to be here, and I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Scientists now understand the politics of this country quite better. Joining us again from the Uganda Christian University, we do refer it as a law school, is Luwaga Alien. He is one of our great friends here on the Youth Roundtable and other shows. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much for having me once again on this show. And as earlier introduced, my name is Luwaga John Elian from School of Law, UCU, and a finalist. And I'm happy to be back on this interesting show and glad to be listening in.
Yeah, we are always privileged to have you here. With us is a host member from Center for Constitutional Governance in the names of Viola Natumanya. You're most welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ivan. Good afternoon, our viewers, and I'm glad to be here with us today.
Let's kick into the show, and I will start with a senior comrade, that is our lawyer, Nasasira. Our topic of discussion today are the presidential campaigns and the satires of the Constitution. We're aware that the Presidential Elections Act 2005 gives the Electoral Commission the mandate to organize presidential elections, but also conduct them. First, I want to give the viewers what you've assessed of the current presidential campaign situation. Before later, we shall kick into the manifestos and the slogans of the different presidential candidates. What is your overall assessment and the view of the current presidential campaigns as of today?
Uganda would have been a blessed country regards to elections. But me using that word would have been blessed. It is the way how we do our politics. The politics starting from the grassroots, LC1 chairperson, to the president. It is a series of events. It is a series of changes. The Presidential Elections Act stipulates the procedure and the steps to be taken, and it guides all the stakeholders in our country. The Electoral Commission has also the rules that it should really follow when it is guiding all contestants and also the electorate. But again, we have a disease we have a challenge that we are facing in our preparations for the elections come next year, 2026 in January. The diseases or the challenges, they are brought up by different people with different interests. We have the foreign interest and the internal interest. The presidential campaigns should be really understood as the broad and big concept, not as a simple concept. I call upon our country, basically the electorate, to understand their rights. We should not forget the constitution what it says. In regards to the rights of the citizens, the fundamental right of a citizen, it is to select or choose his or her own leader of choice. But again, I call upon the Electoral Commission to do what the law says, understand what the Presidential Election Petitions Act, or rather Presidential Election Act provides, and also the supreme law, the Constitution, all the 18 chapters of the Constitution, and also understanding all the provisions in that Constitution. They should not go away with the provisions of that Constitution. Mr. Ivan and the viewers, permit me to stop here for now, but I call upon implementation of the law in our statutes.
I want to call someone common in law as you are. Luaga, kindly guide us in regards to compliance. Elections are guided by legal compliance, where Constitution is one of the guiding documents, but also the law. The procedure issues that were raised by some of the candidates who since missed the nomination, we have been seeing some of the candidates up to now still having issues with security clearances to also operate. Does the whole exercise of initiating the 2026 election lay a background that there will be a free and fair election, or they will be they will lead to a democratic environment around January of 2026?
Thank you so much for that wonderful question as regards to the background that has given birth to the presidential campaigns that are actually have already started. I want to start from the background, the legal perspective you actually given us to have an insight about as regards the nomination procedures that have actually first been concluded recently. I want to speak from two sides and two voices. First is the voice of the people who passed through the nomination and were actually given the flag to continue and stand. And then the second is the ones who actually were unable to go through. I want to start from the perspective of the ones who went through. The ones who went through claimed that they were prepared and they had the necessary signatures and the necessary documentation to actually enable them to go through.
They were all political party candidates.
And they were all political party candidates and they had the necessary credentials. And I want to believe so. Because when you look at people like the President Museveni, who has actually been standing, I think, for quite some time, 40 years now, he definitely has the qualifications.
The eighth time with his senior 6 years.
When you look at the other competing opposition people, like, let me say, Robert Chagulani, they definitely also have the necessary credentials. I saw him put up that we're going to organize people to come out and give us the signatures. I definitely saw the whole procedure, and he definitely was prepared to the dot. Now, I want to look at people like Sesha Mayanja, who were also aspiring to be presidential candidates of this country, and were definitely not nominated.
I think her party, she's the party president, but they have a presidential flag bearer.
And that whole saga that happened at the time of nomination, whereby they are nominating a candidate, she's actually also singing at a presidential candidate's nomination.
Your party president is singing at a rally of your opponent.
There is no way that is indicative of organization. Actually, that shows disorganization, because it literally made the whole party to lose interest and to actually fall out on the particular small things. So for it to actually not be nominated, it's because in the first place they had little cohesion, like they had problems, internal strifes within their party. When you look at Nsereko and his team,
I want you to, musically, we have our comrades who are always here, the Magazis. Where did they fall short? Is it the age, or they had too many words and very little actions?
I do believe his English is good, but it might not be the necessary prerequisite for standing in an election. Because I actually sometimes listen to him and I be like, it's good to be, let me say, an LOC chairperson. Like,
but which village will entertain
maybe
all that
some
English?
village might entertain that kind of language.
Maybe
and
Munyonyo, Muyenga villages.
maybe for purposes of if they're also ready to handle. But if I'm to look at how he's prepared for a presidential candidate, he is not actually prepared. People actually downplay the organization of the NRM and take it for a joke. And that's actually why NRM still beats most of these positions. They only look at the presidential candidates. But before you look at the presidential candidates, look at the member of parliament and their seats. You see that NRM will actually beat there. Why not other organizations? Why not other opposition parties? Now, that is why we should sit and now also understand and copy from them that as the opposition, how does the NRM do its thing? The NRM does not make a lot of noise as you people like are doing. And you think that you will go through. Section 8, 9, and 10 of the Presidential Elections Act stipulates that the Electoral Commission will organize and take on the nomination period. And it will give you strictly 2 days. You cannot sit on the first day and wait for you to organize yourself on the second day simply because that's when another party has chosen. And all of you say, as opposition, we shall go on that day. And because you've fallen out on the credentials, you now want to blame the Electoral Commission for not actually giving you the nomination. And it's on your problem. It's actually your problem that you did not do the necessary insight and research. Nsereko came here and was aspiring to be a president. And I'm actually seeing that all this was a joke. You cannot say preparing to be a president and it's as if you're waking up in the morning. You see, when you contacted about this particular program, it was prior that Elian were going to actually have it at this time and then actually give the confirmation. I did not wake up today morning at 6 and actually said, oh, by the way, I'm coming today. Now, such are the prevailing circumstances that happen in most of these political parties. Even Munyagwa and his party, they all are just 2 months old and they are coming just to organize a political election and then go out.
Yeah, we have parties which are 1 month. And
that's the problem. You cannot beat the NRM when you're just organizing a party at the end, at the tail of the election period. And that's when you're actually coming to organize a party. Munyagwa went through, but it was just, let me say, just luck that actually made him go through. But his party is neither prepared nor actually organized. Like, it's not in any of those things. The whole thing he's putting out there is the Rusania. But I'm looking at the fact that you are prepared to beat a candidate. You're prepared to remove a candidate from office. A candidate who is about 8 years, but still running. And you who is not on that particular program, all you're saying is that we're going to remove this president. They have told you we have a nomination period. And you're saying that, oh, this president has actually corrupted the Electoral Commission to actually beat us off. But did you have the credentials? You did not. So I feel like at this point, NRM is going to be very careful than actually the opposition. The current atmosphere in 2020 vis-a-vis 2021 and then 2025, 2026 is going to be different. At that time, opposition was very organized somehow to actually remove the president. In 2025, it's actually a total joke. JOKE is a total joke. They do not even have the aspirations to remove a president. Maybe for purposes of we have been seen around, that we actually are also present. But for purposes of removing a president, it's not their intention. Because if it were their intention, we wouldn't have this chaos happening. They have told you that these are the nomination procedures. The law actually, which we always refer to section 8, 9, and 10, on how to actually organize nomination, is very clear. The Electoral Commission has not actually removed you without when you actually have the necessary credentials. None of them could have made the necessary signatures.
You know, there was a lot of controversy with the letters from EC regarding people's signatures. Some candidates said their signatures were downplayed. Then, because NRM claims submitted 2 million, submitted some signatures of some candidates. Does it mean even their votes will be taken and then?
The purpose of nomination is to actually show that there are people who believe in what you're doing. Like, you're not alone. It's like standing behind you.
You're representative.
Yeah, like the people who actually have trust and belief that in the first place we actually believe you can actually stand. Because it's like you standing and it's air that is actually interested in you, but not people. So the nomination thing is to show that actually there are people who are interested in you. Now, which people are interested in Stasha Mayanda's political party? I want to know them because I also personally might not be interested in the same party. Maybe for your sake, but I do not think if they approached you would put a signature there. Now, that is the prevailing circumstance.
They will
before
buy
us.
it.
The people, they also themselves, they cannot put signatures on their own nomination forms. So that is where the problem comes in. Like in Seroko's party, Seroko is not sure that he wants to stand for MP. Is it political party? Is it member of parliament? Is it president? He's also there. A presidential candidate is also crying like another person on the national media, flying up and down, blaming candidates. You should now be organizing strategically to actually beat off a candidate. Whatever they were doing was not indicative of preparation. It was actually indicative of disorganization. When you look at, I was at the NRM nomination, and I actually was taking keen of what exactly these people do. And there was a clear indication that we are actually organizing these things like this, and this is how it. Museveni might not go to the ground to actually pick the nomination, but he has a team of people that actually prepared. The next prepared team might be the noob. The rest of the people actually taking their own things. They're just jokers, starting from FDC and whichever fall out to PFFF. All those ones are just now a bunch of disorganized people that are actually aspiring to be presidents of this country. The day they will organize one candidate to stand as opposition, that's the day organization will start. Before which we shall actually be the illusion that they're
Janet,
organized.
I want to pick from you. Most of us, we have always been regarded as disorganized. Was the EC organized enough? And also, I want to pick your insights on, we had the female candidates like Nancy Kalembe. There was one candidate who was also a product of our TV here. She was running up and down. They weren't nominated. As an observer from the Hill, I know you're a young person with high interest in your country. Where do you think the EC didn't do enough? But also, where do you feel, okay, they are not jokers, the candidates didn't do enough?
Thank you so much. When they sent these candidates for signatures, I saw the aspirant, Mr. Magezi, in the northern Uganda, crying. We are here, mosquitoes, you people got malaria, signatures. So I imagined the life of getting signatures from every district in this country.
98 districts.
Yeah, 98 districts. Wasn't an easy one. So now, you know, a lady going to northern Uganda, then I think these girls, or these ladies were just lazy, or the situation was too hard for them to go for. And the EC, I don't want to blame it, but when they put out requirements, they're like, bring 100 signatures, or okay.
And these requirements have not changed from the last election. Someone was allowed to start collecting signatures after the end of the last election.
Yes.
Up
So
to now.
it is
The form remains the same.
Yes. So it is prior planning that prevents poor performance. If these ladies really knew that I cannot travel 7 districts in one day, so now I will start earlier and collect these signatures, they would come with them. And now they wanted to do just like Magezi did, and then go in for the last hour preparation, and they were knocked out. So it was so unfortunate, and still so unfortunate, that us, the ladies, are not presented the ballot paper.
Wow, I've learned something. Prior planning. I always know ladies as planners. From the angle of Viola, guide us from the angle of civil society, as an observer. Your Center for Constitutional Governance is known as a watchdog for constitutionalism in this country. Where do you think there was compliance and non-compliance with the presidential nominations? We have not even arrived to manifesto launch. I think it is our next question, but we shall start from you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ivan. Talking about the presidential nominations in relation to the constitutionalism, because that's what CCG is about, there was too much of playing, because right away from the start, looking at the Constitution, Article 4, I think, that provides for teaching the citizens the Constitution, clause 1, clause 2 teaching this constitution in the schools, institutions. I do not know. I would love to pose a question to the rest of us. At what level did you learn about the constitution?
We were adults. You can.
Yeah, we were adults, literally. So there has not been awareness. There has not been, people are not aware of the law. They are not aware of their rights.
And they want to be president.
And they want to be president. Yeah. They know they have this right to vote. They can stand, and didn't they lift the limitation, the age limitation?
You remind me that we had 200 people who picked presidential
Exactly,
nomination.
200 people that picked nomination
and
forms,
only 8 were
and
nominated.
only 8 were nominated. That really puts us as a country at a place of too many unserious Ugandans that want to look serious.
But here on the show, we are serious.
Yeah. Of course, here on the show we are serious Ugandans. But I mean, the 200 Ugandans really. Why? Like why? Because you would really see big numbers growing up, picking nominations. How many return them? None. And I think I would also put a blame to the Electoral Commission about the restrictions towards the presidential nomination. Of course, lifting, everyone was excited about the lifting of the Article 102 of the Constitution, about age limits, about, that everyone can, literally 18 years, sound mind.
The happiest
you
was
have
President
advanced-
Museveni then. His age wasn't viable.
Of course, now, you see our laws, that article was amended with an interest of one particular person who was interested in, getting this benefit for himself.
For quite a long
And
time.
the public was excited. Oh, the rest of us can actually, pick these nominations and stand for the presidency, not knowing that in actual sense we are damaging ourselves because there is no constitutionalism going on. As we go on and get excited about who else is coming in, that time, of course, we were seeing, I think it was Katumba who was up those ends in the previous elections. And everyone was excited. Oh, Katumba is also coming. And I think at that time, the EC allowed him to come through to prove a point of it has actually been lifted. The law is working. It was amended, and you see people are coming in. The young people are also standing in for presidency. But truthfully,
So Katumba was an experiment.
it was, yeah. He was an experiment.
An apparatus for practical.
Exactly. And no wonder right now, he wasn't able to go through.
The signatures he had last time, this time,
I was
disappeared.
listening. That reminds me, I was watching yesterday. There was a certain conference going on. I think something with the Human Rights Commission about the national dialogue to do with elections. And that gentleman from the Electoral Commission mentioned that some of the people that brought those signatures had them in alphabetical orders. Imagine having signatures from A, B, C, alphabetical order. So, and yet the voters register has been updated. So it was prima facie that these people have cheated. They have not actually looked for these signatures. Having like the same person, you're really saying it's that someone is actually trying to forge a signature, or having different people have signing for different candidates. He was stating that they saw that as a challenge. So I think these people, as presidential candidates who had come in, to, when the numbers grew, at some point there was an excitement of these numbers. First, I asked myself, is this really democracy? Are we really being serious as a country? Does this mean that we have so many people that can actually stand for presidency? It was beating my understanding that, okay, what happens if 100 people get nominated? What happens? And how many political parties do we have? So many. How many are knowing? there are only like 5 which are out there and are known and people get to know about. It's quite challenging. I think the EC needs to do something about the credentials of nominating the political leaders, the presidential candidates. Anyway, it's now passed because the nominations are already done. But I think in the next nominations, we might need to have a better way of sitting down these presidential aspirants. Probably put the 20 million
a
or
person
30
who wants to
million
be a
before the
president needs
nomination.
counseling, is it?
Some of them need it because the law provides that they should be of sound mind. But who checks the sound mind? They might actually need it. Because
This is
some of
the
these
highest
people,
office in the land.
exactly, it's the highest office in the land. You see how the judges go through the law school and then LDC
Different courts.
and then I think it's 10 years or 15 years of practice before they go into the position of the judges. I think it should be the same thing with this. You can't just come out of anywhere from your farm and you want to lead the country. Really? It's a disrespect to us as country.
So much
It's so
disappointed.
Senior comrade, I want you to guide us from jokers to unseriousness to lack of prior planning. Where are we? We now want to arrive at. The nominations have happened. We want to move to the handling of the nominations and the different manifestos. I will want to pick your overview and the oversight of what at nomination level and the different presidential packages. Where do you feel the candidates have packaged well and complied well with EC? Because in the last election at Kyambogo, we saw presidential candidates who were carried away. Some lost their shoes. There is one who went with a full trouser and returned to his home in Wakiso, down there with half a trouser. His friends who escorted him returned when they don't know whether they were in a trouser or a skirt. So, what levels of better compliance did we have on these nominations? And also, what did you pick from the different candidates on their presentation?
First and foremost, in regards to the amendment of the Constitution, Article 102 of the Constitution, 1995, it is clear, apparently, whoever is above 18 years and he has attained education of senior 6, he can contest. Now, it is incumbent of to the person who is applying to the Electoral Commission to become a president of this country, to understand what is his gain, what is his mission, why is he contesting, right? It is not us to judge whether Mr. Bogere, who has come in gumboots, whether he's capable or not, right? The law is very clear. Let's give these people always their constitutional right to contest. Now, we leave the ball into the hands of the Electoral Commission, because alongside the provisions of the Constitution, the Electoral Commission puts on stringent powers or stringent requirements, the prerequisites of someone to contest. One should be a citizen, you should be a registered voter, you should be having at least, you should be a taxpayer of the country, you should be 18 years and above, you should have collected the required signatories from all districts.
2/3.
Yes, from the districts. So if they have been nominated, now we have 8 candidates that have 8 nominees that are in press. Let's now give it time. NRM has so far is preparing its manifesto, and other parties are coming on board to unleash their manifestos. So we are going to dive into those manifestos and we see whether the incumbent, Mr. President, Mr. Museveni, whether his suit is suitable to be given another term, or if we can bring the people who are calling for the protest vote. So we are going to rely on their manifestos, and we should not dive into much of saying maybe Mr. Bogere is not fit or Mr. Munyagwa. Yesterday, sometime back, I was with
Munyagwa is fit. He has been a mayor. He has
Yes.
been an MP. He has been chairperson of COSASE.
Everything.
I
He
cannot
has
stand
been
it.
through all
Highlighted.
positions in parliament.
I cannot stand here and discredit who is a person who has come up and has unleashed his wish to lead this country. Not until I fully examine why he has come. I'm secretly character assassinating Mr. This gentleman who is always in Gambos. He was kind of a joker, for lack of a better word. Kind of bring comedy into nominations. If I'm not forgetting, he's called Mr. Bogere.
Yeah, with Chikomando.
With Chikomando. So we should not stand in the society and judge these people. They
How
have
the
reasons why.
position of president has lost moral respect to that level.
Yes.
To commando.
So let's give it time and understand their manifestos. And we should not really be influenced by the wishes of the neighbors. Just be influenced by what the contents of the manifestos provide. I'm giving it time to wait for the fully unveiled manifesto of all the parties.
In our second court of the discussion, we shall discuss the manifestos, because at least all parties as of now, all candidates have released their manifestos. So I will hold you at that. Elian, sorry if I pronounce it like the other alien who is known. But picking from you, the nomination day itself, the candidates, their presentation from 1926 to 1931. We shall not have Kiswahili in this country. We shall give 100 million to each village. What was your take on our candidates' outlook?
Thank you so much. There is usually a Myland friend who usually hosts here, Kanso Kwesiga.
Yeah.
He's my good old
He's an
boy,
offer.
and he's such a good person to me. There's a statement he usually makes on these shows that in Uganda, Oseka Wokaba. He loves that statement, and I want to adopt it. That whereas we might be in a time of crisis, then you now look at what is coming, and then you still laugh as you cry. Because whereas we are crying about the sorry state of the country, we now look at the candidates that have been fronted. Then you start crying more, and then as you still laugh, because you be like, this country is actually a joke. My land council said, for lack of a better word, that was the better word actually. It is a joker. That person is just a joker. We are looking at the manifestos they have presented and the statements they have made. On the nomination date, back to your question. I was able to pick interest in the two competing parties, that is NRM and NOP. These other parties are just literally like maybe they are trying to be in record that they ever stood. But when you look at NRM and what you have hinted on, the 1926, 1931, those were statements of the president, the representative of NRM at this point. I want to believe he's not a young man. I want to believe he's an old man. And old age
If
usually,
he was born in 1926, is 100 years. As of
usually,
today.
old age catches up with everyone, and
As of today now,
and
is
with
100.
every body part. So maybe at this point we're now on the next stage, that the next body part to be affected is the brain, which should be the last thing to affect a president.
That is Biden.
So I want to compare both parties, that whereas we might blame the president for being an old president, and we have actually, let me say, had enough of him. But let's look at the alternative, and also vis-a-vis the statements he makes and the promises he makes. On that day, this is someone who talks about wealth creation. He's always talking about empowering the youth. And on that very day, I think that's the very day they talked about increment of salaries for the arts teachers, because we have had a long cry about science and arts, and being an artist, I was actually also very affected because we definitely put in a lot also when we are doing literature. You think it's easy. We also have our instruments and the laboratories We
Yeah.
dissect novels, and definitely we also deserve
We have
that
to read
increment.
Kamarala,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
Overnight.
Royce
Definitely. Things that they might not relate with
But
anymore.
you are feeling
No,
just
no, no.
passed away.
So I was happy that he made the promise that they are going to increase their salaries. Now we are looking at now the other person in Kamwacha who is also promising similar things. He's saying we shall remove the president. I'm tired of those statements.
Me
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
me too.
I'm tired of things we shall remove the president. So after removing him or he's dead, what should we do as a country? We now start looking at you and we do what? We are looking at the same person in 2021. I'm happy he is the same person. He has not yet
He
changed.
promised it will not come up to this point.
He promised in 2021 we are going to not reach there, we shall remove the president, we shall do very many things. You have failed on the first promises you promised in 2021.
There was a mail which came in Nairobi.
There are very
What
many
happened?
things. That was Nairobi. They had their things that they were offloading that side. We were not very concerned. As Uganda, we are even landlocked. So we are looking at the fact that you even promised things which you failed to deliver within the period of 5 years. But now, even without giving us a clear way forward, because now the people you're talking to in this particular central region are people who have gone to school. We are no longer in the age system of like we are studying from leaves, writing on stones. We're now having people who have gone to school. Even in villages, people have at least gone to school. At least there is that moral intellect you must have as you respect us who are listening to what you're saying. That we are going to remove a president, we are going to remove so and so. But you're not telling us. I was watching most of the TikTok videos also that were flowing from that side, and people are commenting that, okay, fine, we shall remove him, but what will you do for that country? That's what I wanted. He has not presented a manifesto of this, and you realize he shies away from that question. And I have no problem. The opposition is actually failing on that ground. It's failing on delivery.
Being objective,
Yeah.
clarity.
Is failing on giving clear manifesto and a roadmap of what it will do. Whereas the president on the other side will not come and say we are going to remove the opposition. We are going to remove so and so. No.
He has also mentioned
He has also mentioned it, but
he purchases it day and night.
his day and night statements as regards manifesto are always towards wealth creation. I might not agree with his wealth creation. I might also not agree with the statements by the opposition. But I want to know where would the country go when these particular things have been achieved. I will say that the president might have better manifesto. Now, you who is competing against him, you should actually be competing on merits, not on his age.
Data,
Because
statistics.
the statistics of what is he doing that I might want to make better, or what has he not done that I might want to do. Because if you're coming out to blame on the surface, it means you're going to lose. Equity looks at the substance, not the form. Because if I'm to judge the form, it means I will look at the person and
You're
judge
using
them.
emotions,
I'm
reactions,
looking at
excitement.
what you're bringing on the table, something he was actually trying to make as a submission. But also, before we even look at their submissions, you can also see that the form can be, the substance can be determined by the form. Because when you start saying that, oh, someone who is already old cannot lead us, but okay, fine, but what is that person saying? That you, who is young, that you're actually saying or not saying. So I feel like on the manifesto, Bob Wine and his
For this show, we refer to him as Honorable Chagulani.
Chagulani,
Yes.
Honorable Chagulani, literally lost that mark on giving, because that was a nomination period, and that's when people were actually eager to listen to what you want to do. And it was the groundbreaking day for you to actually say that we shall do ABCD. We are tired of the song of removing a person. Now take away the issue of removing a person and now replace it with what you're going to do for the country. That is how basically we
Let
shall
me
get
pick
there.
Janet from removing a dictator to a protest vote to a new Uganda now. That is where Alien has left us. Janet, which president? Okay, sorry. We arrive at the nomination. Who best addressed affirmative action? Do you think there was any particular candidate on the nomination day that really is a representation of the other gender, the majority gender, the most empowered gender where the number has lie today, right? The women. Who best addresses issues that are touching the majority Ugandans still are women. So I'm sorry, they are still women. Who, basing on the presentations of the various candidates, what was your pick before we go for the break and return with the very question?
Thank you so much. Now, on the nomination day, we start with the presidents, like NRM. Now, when you go to a community and you get to a council, now this is a council of 70 members and 65 are women. What comes into your mind? These people empower women. And so we see the presidential nomination, the NRM nomination, we see active ladies during his term of office. He has done it. We have seen it. And even in his speech, he has never left out women. Even we saw people wearing t-shirts, women, all women from say.
But even Munyagwa loves addressing women very well.
Yeah, he did. He did, but I saw a tweet recently on X. The daughter had some attitude, and someone
came with the daughter,
yes, and someone
women
said,
around him.
Munyagwa, your own daughter is not believing your statements. That was so bad, but people always do those things on social media. So I recommend President Museveni on that gender, like upholding women.
Kyagulanyi came with a very beautiful dressed woman.
Yes, he came with a very beautiful woman. He came with a very beautiful
portrayed
woman.
Uganda's beauty.
Yes, but on his team, many of them were men.
Okay.
Yes, and so
right.
Me, a neutral Ugandan, why do these people only have like 3 women with them, and then others? And what? Okay, anyways, and like, can't they empower women? Just like someone watching from like a space, not into the politics.
The only candidate who had no women totally was Elton Mabirizi. He was alone with Ken Chams, but at least the rest had their wives.
Yeah, they had their wives, but now the smallest unit of a community is family. So as a presidential candidate, before you come to rule a country and govern and everything, we expect you to have family. Because now if you cannot govern or now put your family in order, then what about Uganda of very many families? So now we expect you to have that smallest unit of a community. That is your family, and we expect you to have a woman, yes. In addition to your woman, what other women have you empowered? What are you bringing out to us women to inspire us? And I'm like, yes, I am voting this candidate because I'm assured in his term of office, yes, we will be empowered. So President Museveni takes it. Thank you so much.
The way General Museveni is getting marks for moving around with women is a bit abnormal. Yeah, but we are going for a short break. We shall come back to have more discussions around the presidential presentations of manifestos, starting from protecting the gains, the protest vote, to fixing the economy money in our pockets. The Rusania agenda, we shall all eat on the same tray. So let's catch up after a short break. Thank you.
Digital rights are those human rights and legal rights that allow individuals to access, use, create, and publish digital media, or to access and use computers, other electronic devices, and telecommunication networks. Digital rights include a right to freedom of expression, information and communication through technology, a right to privacy and data protection, a right to credit for personal works, a right to universal and equal digital access, a right to identity, a right to anonymity, a right to be forgotten, and a right for protection of minors, among others. The state's digital rights are frequently violated through various unfair actions, for example, blockage of websites and social networks, theft of credentials, unauthorized use of people's data for personal gain, privacy intrusion, online censorship, arrests and intimidation of online users, internet blockages, and the proliferation of laws and regulations that undermine the potential of technology to drive social, economic, and political development worldwide. It is hence every citizen's responsibility to respect rights of other digital users and to speak out or report to the responsible parties when one's rights are violated.
Welcome back from the break. We are still analyzing the presidential candidates, the presidential nominations, and the satires of the 1995 Constitution. I now move to my extreme left, Viola. What did you assess of our next president to be by presentations, but also on the redress of the affirmative action. We are a country that has close to 78% of its population that are young people. We are grappling with issues of employment, issues of productivity, issues of aligning a country to the right direction in terms of meeting its economic status. Because we see people assume we are in middle income. The other day, IMF disputes it. All those are as a result of leadership, because leadership is a direction for society. Your overview.
Thank you once again, Ivan. I would like to begin from a few manifestos that I listened into, not so much though. President Museveni his manifesto is not so much different from the previous one, of the previous elections, because it's literally the same thing: empowering the youth, empowering women, empowering infrastructure, roads. The question would be, is there anything achieved from the promises that were made from the previous elections? I was listening into one show at NBS, and a representative from the NRM on that panel, his response to that question of
Achievements.
And manifesto was, give us these 5 years, add us these 5 years.
Accountability.
Yeah, add us these 5 years. Because the question was, what haven't you done in the previous 40 years that you have been in power, that you want to achieve in the 5 years? And his response was, just give us these 5 years and we shall put everything right, all the wrongs right. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, but that is the character of politicians.
Yeah, that's right. But
they think they can do little in less time than much in much time.
Honestly, it literally beats understanding of how you want to correct something that you have failed to do all the other years that you had chance to do. It appeared as a loophole in their manifesto, though I won't give a conclusive remark on that because I haven't paid so much attention.
Protecting the gains. They should have some gains they are protecting. Does it mean Chibok or what? What are those gains from your
I think the gains they are trying to talk about are the security, are
UPE.
But you see,
Parish development model.
When you talk about UPE, actually, you remind me, because UPE is not actually UPE. Because it's supposed to be education for free, yeah? But right now, UPE is as much as private institutions, private schools, because they also literally give out the same. They'll still pay, yeah? And what's challenging is people will not pay attention to these things. When you try to come out and talk about them, they'll say, we have bias.
I want to pick something. Is it the population that is urban conscious, or it is the presidential candidates who are unconscious?
You see, the body operates from the brain. The head is the main part of the body that causes it to operate before the heart and everything else. Because if it doesn't tell you, if your head doesn't tell you to go maybe to Muyenga, you're not going to instruct the body to go there without it. So if the head is not there with you as a country, do not expect to be there. Yeah? Do not expect to be there. So if the leaders that we entrust to go and represent us are not actually doing their job, there is nowhere we are going as a country. At the end of the day, we shall keep on singing the same things. They are selfish, they are selfish, they are selfish. Yeah? They are doing things in their own interests. All they want is to gain and eat alone, yeah? feed themselves and their stomachs and all that. You see, the problem with this thing is people don't realize that the loopholes in the democracy is a national cake. You may not face it right now, but everyone has a piece of it. Everyone will eventually get a share of that cake. You will be in the hospital alone, meeting the bills. I've had people making, giving complaints about the services at Mulago as a national referral hospital. And they're like, really? A national referral? Should we be treated like this? Because it's a national referral, yeah? And in my mind, I'm like, why are you even complaining? Because you are the people who have the power to vote. Because when you look at our population is, I think, 49 or 45, 49.5 million. And the percentage of people who can't vote is really, really less compared to the percentage of the voters. We are the ones that have the power of the ballot. Yes, they of course, they will say they are rigged votes, they are, doing cheating here and there, but we have the power. There are those votes that are so hard to cheat. I've been seeing them in the primaries, but they are trying to,
Like
manipulate votes here and there. There were those votes that are so vivid that you cannot manipulate them. So as the population, really, as the voters, these things are in our hands. And it's so breaking that when you talk about this, everyone freaks out. You see the election season is coming in, but everyone is like, elections are coming in. Like, it's a burden, it's pressure because of the environment that is created. You find the forces, the police, the security forces that are supposed to be, guiding us through the road maps and all that, are literally going to favor of one person. Of course, maybe it's probably because it's where they earn from and it's what puts food on their table. But what happens to the law? What happens to democracy? What happens to equality? Yeah, because all these people, the fact that the EC has allowed them to come through.
You've mentioned something about the law, and because of time, we need to look at satires of the Constitution. Now that you mentioned the Kawad law, I got enticed to ask my second question and start it from you. Where did the law fall short of overseeing our elections, and are there a need for electoral reforms as to the current status quo?
Yes, there is a big need for electoral reforms to do their part, because electoral reforms are in charge of translating these laws to the citizens of the public. But you will get shocked that someone out there doesn't know that they can actually get the Constitution in their own language. They don't know these things. It's not there. And it's quite depressing that, because getting back to Center for Constitutional Governance, what they want to put out is get people aware of the law, have a constitution, just like the same way you have your phone. You get aware of what is, what you are subjecting to. Every household in Uganda should have a copy of the Constitution. But when you mention these things, literally they are like, they're for land friends, they're for politicians. And it's really discouraging. It puts us at a very, very desperate place as a country. And I would urge the Electoral Commission to really, being an independent institution, even makes it more hard. Because if it was reporting to a certain institution above it, probably there would so much that could be rectified around things that are not being understood by the citizens. But for the fact that it's an independent party, it's an independent institution, everything is about it. So whatever answers that you think you could actually go beyond that, you won't get. So I think there's need for reform. So much need for reform. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much. There is need for reform. Alien, sorry. When Arsenal scored in the additional minutes on Sunday, there were people who could notice that there is more noise than even in the entire 8 candidates if they passed on the same road. Have we reached a level where even foreign-based influences are far more popular than our constitution as we celebrate 30 years?
Thank you for that question. As regards our constitution, that was promulgated in 1995, I want to believe that it's just a set of guidelines, that a set of norms that are supposed to govern this country, where each other law should gain its validity from. It has been amended a number of times, and I want to say that it's given the current atmosphere and the current electoral roadmap and everything, we now go back and ask, what does the constitution say? We shall then go to the famous 102 before I go to whether it's more famous, whether the constitution is famous as regards your comparison.
Is there any candidate of the presidential candidates who portrayed in their manifesto or handout or pamphlet the issue, the constitutionalism?
Well, I don't want to understand. Maybe when they definitely come on board to all lay out their manifesto.
We should pray for a presidential debate.
Maybe. But as regards the fact that there is there was Article 102 that now makes it open for people to stand on the basis of 18 and plus. I feel like that is now where the entire suffering we are having today started from. Because now whoever feels like they have made some little money and they have invested some coffee, they want to now go and stand. We are seeing the likelihoods of Nsereko, Nyagwa with their
but we have the National Peasant Party.
They want to come. The National Peasants Party, I didn't want to go there because honestly, the word peasant itself has two meanings. It has the dictionary meaning and the connotative meaning. The connotative meaning is what you feel the word brings to your mind, minus the dictionary version. So when I say peasant, you will actually feel insulted. But there are people who subscribe to that part. So I want to believe that when that whole thing was made and they said that everyone can stand, that's the democratic atmosphere that is envisaged in our constitution. And you can stand as long as you have the capacity and qualifications. And I feel like it's not about someone just standing because of that. She asked a question, how about if 100 people are nominated? Would that be the democracy we are desiring for?
No, I was shocked too that people knew who scored Arsenal's second goal. But someone made an interview of the 8 of us on the table. None knew the 8 presidential nominees, and if by accident any became a presidential candidate,
in any event,
you don't know who's running for president.
That is very clear, and it's indicative that we have actually, a few people are now interested in the politics of this country, and especially as regards those levels. There are people who have given up, disillusioned, and said, whoever will pass through, pass through. What's your name? I will give you a tick if that is okay. But the people are no longer interested. The few who are interested are people who are now interested in the gaining, that they're protecting the gains, and there are also these ones who are protesting the vote. Now, there are these other majority who are no longer interested and who might not even end up voting. I've been seeing the current trends from 1995 to date and how elections have been happening. And I want to say that the highest number of voters was recorded in 2021. I do not know why, for purposes of voter.
COVID, everyone
Yeah.
was home.
People were idle. The only activity they had was to go and vote.
So that's when we had a lot of votes, even the President Ghana.
But also population
6 million.
increase also increases the voter turnout.
I pray that indeed people manifest and come out and vote, but there is supposed to be more. You see, if you want the people to actually understand more politics in this country, as regards to supporting Arsenal, the politicians themselves must be as serious as the players of Arsenal, the other side. So for them to gain that particular support, you cannot tell me I'm going to sit down and listen to Mnyagwa and Nsereko and his team, and I'm saying, okay, of which I might even be a better candidate than all of them there. So them standing out to come out and like literally, I can say waste time for this country. Imagine there were two candidates. How would you feel? Don't you think people would be interested in knowing how this is going to turn out? But the moment they become a school, we are not going to be here to listen to that, because even if they want to rig elections, it's from that disorganization that actually that's how it will start. So I expected them to have a consensus that actually, let's agree amongst us, let's support one person. The day the opposition will have such a manifesto, the day the opposition will have such a mindset, it will actually be a better position to beat off a president. But beyond that, there is no organization, and that is no way going to make sense for the country, because now the constitution is going to be silent on all these things. And if she asked for electoral reforms, I would actually at some point agree with her. Because if the constitution made mention back then that now we're not going to go and allow people to stand like this, imagine the constitution now made it clear that two people, although democracy exists, democracy doesn't mean 100 people should stand. Democracy should be moderated, because that's how it happens. Because I also know, like, a lot of things happen, but not everyone goes through the same funnel. Even papers are done and few people go through to the next class. It doesn't mean that's not democracy. It means you've failed, like, achieve the necessary standards.
Where there is success, there is failure.
Yeah, and I believe if I was an electoral commission, personally, I would not allow all the 8 people to go through, because my standards are high, but I would not even allow all the 8 to go through. Because you cannot bring Yolusani and you're saying that that's your manifesto, we are going to eat. And I'm actually also going to be like, okay, go. No, I feel like I actually have
You will
more
offend
power
their
to-
rights.
You're going to just make this country look a shame, because they cannot ask people who are out there that we're actually inspiring, let me say from America, from UK, and they're saying, okay, let's see your candidates that you people are bringing against themselves, that you actually people are blaming. We first bring this one.
At Symbols,
Now
there
bring
is a
this one.
bus, there is a key, there is an umbrella. I think Usania is expensive than an umbrella.
But
might not
the
go
into
Lusania,
it.
the Lusania
One
might
more
actually.
Hey,
Ugandan symbols are scaring. Someone has a port or something like that.
No,
What is
Mr.
this?
Ivan, the Lusania might be expensive,
but symbol is
but
what's the
but
meaning?
The key and
what
the
is coming with the Lusania?
We are eating
But we are
together.
eating to
Yes.
like literally you're coming to eat.
And so shameful.
Really?
Not alone.
Whenever they're
We
making
all
those,
Ugandans.
whenever they're making those videos, the people standing behind them, that show serious faces that actually, you know
And they nod
what?
their heads backward.
So I believe that before we blame the constitution, I believe the constitution has at least lived for these 30 years, but the constitution is supposed to live with support of the people. Now, the people that we are actually also having are shaming us. I believe we do not need 8 candidates for this race. Even 3 would be many for me. We need 2, so that now you critically analyze their manifesto. You clearly, the same way it would happen in America, because there you could see every statement made by a candidate. And that, although America would have also their number of candidates because of democracy, but imagine our countries gunned for only 2 candidates like this. So that now we analyze one candidate as against the other. But now as we analyze one against the other, there is one coming with the Lusania, another coming with the port, and they are not making sensible arguments before us. And that's where we shall have people who will support those people, and they will kill the votes of any one candidate who might actually have been a better option. And that's why we shall lose it all. And they'll say they robbed the election. The first person who robbed the election was that person who brought a Lusania into the election. Because that person also took some votes from you who might have won in the opposition. And that's my submission, because I do believe that the constitution has done its best, but when it made democracy a point, interpretations became now the problem. People who don't know English are interpreting democracy. Those ones who know are all interpreting it their own way. And that's why we have 8 candidates, some with Lusania, others with what? Sesha Mayanja and her team, they're all there coming for the
A
election.
whole what?
She can't even manage the music industry. But that's why the problem is.
We missed the female candidate, so you represent them. On the issue of constitutionalism, part of the deficiencies is education. You can't have constitutionalism when your education sector is not enhanced to see that constitutionalism is taught at lower literate levels. Someone posed the question on this show that at what age did you get interest in the constitution? And we all noted that at university. To you, which candidate best addressed education and constitutionalism? And what are your views as Uganda marks 30 years of the constitution this month?
For candidates, I can just give my views because
Not like a Makerere student, but like a voter in Mbarara.
like a voter in Mbarara, I am not proud of most of the candidates and what they spoke on their nomination, what they told us. So as a voter in Mbarara now, I would be regretting why I didn't go for the race. Yes.
You would actually be a better candidate.
Yes, because I hit the qualification.
Not even just that, even presidential candidates. This man with Rusania.
We just have issues with
Yes,
the
so
man
as a
with
voter in
Lusania.
Mbarara now, I would be looking like I would have gotten the signatures, but now Uganda's politics and campaigns and all that. I will describe it like a little bit of like a philosophical way, the Greek philosophy of is it Athens and Sparta something. Those people who had wars for over 8 years, and now we see this man, we see Science describing that thing. If people who do philosophy, who know about those things, I'm a scientist.
They have a literature laboratory.
They have a literature laboratory. So that man described those wars. They're called Proboscis wars, something. These people were fighting for 8 years, and we had the people who were in power and those that were a threat to power. So now this person in power wanted superiority. They wanted to keep on leading. They wanted to take all the control. They wanted it for themselves, whatever time. Now the threat, these people, we had power and fear. These people were fearing. They were like, no, we want to take over. Like, we are tired of being ruled. This person is now taking over. Like, the more they enlarge, the more they get into us. So now we are fearing even our own state is being like approached and encroached. So we're in fear. We might get lost. And now if I relate the Athens and the Sparta to Uganda's politics now, the one in power, the current government, they want to keep in power. They want to keep the superiority and keep
So do you want to keep, we think that there are also people in opposition who want to keep in opposition?
No, now the people in opposition, they are fearing. They are worried about the country that has, the government that has been there for 40 years. Now, what more do they want to give us? And where will our country be when this party chooses what to throw us away or do anything to us? The opposition is in fear. Because now, according to what is on now, the leading party is a bit powerful compared to the past election. And from my point of view, like from my view, the current government might have a higher percentage compared votes compared to the past 2021 elections. And so now the opposition, they're in fear, and the other ones still want to lead. Now we're going to have violence as a must, because fear and power, these people want to take over, the other ones want to oppress them. So we are going to have violence, democratic was something as a must. Now, Constitution comes in. As you go ahead, 2026 campaigns and all that, if the Constitution of Uganda was like, if it was in P5, and then I would read my Constitution.
We need to give it to our
Yes,
children,
and
people,
then someone is
and
like,
cane
yes,
them seriously.
article this. Now, these people in opposition and those in government would have them like in their heads deep, and they would respect them. So now, the current government would give these opposition people their freedom during the campaigns. Now we are on a point of avoiding violence, because this is fear and power now coming together and contradicting. So now, if Constitution and people knew the law,
because police officers have never learned it anywhere. They were just told that they will find this document here.
you see. So now that would be
They
a
join
very
police
good idea.
without an idea of the Constitution, but they're looking for a job.
Yes.
So he will cane you wholeheartedly.
Yes. And now, if we grow up with our constitution at the back of our minds and respect it and love it so much, it would be so hard for us to break the rules and the constitution. So in the coming elections, we'd have peaceful transition of power or peaceful maintenance of power without wars and violence. Now, the constitution would be of great use to this country if at all we grew up.
What is its
With
current use? Because
Now, because the topic was about campaigns and presidential campaigns, from the previous experience, we saw what happened, the violence, people dying. When you enter Kavule, the NUP offices, you see pictures of people. This one was knocked by this died, the pictures of those people and the memories. And at the back of my mind, and I see that, I don't see anything like constitution in its like stable form. But before now we go ahead, I know this will be told, and those who watch it, we should keep constitution at the back of our mind in the coming elections. Let the current government respect the opposition, let them have freedom, and even the opposition, let them respect the current government, because we're having the battles, opposition people overuse media and their words, and then the other ones, now they're superior, they have all the machines. So these ones fire with words, these ones fire with action. It is all a mess. So please, you should teach our kids constitution, and so that when they grow up, things are easier. We don't get violence and all that. I think that's how constitution comes in, and it's so important in the elections. And,
I want to appreciate you for your views and the remarks on the constitution, but also its application and the need to see that we enhance the constitution in practice and not in its theoretical context. Thank you very much. That has been Janet Kanini from Makerere University. Close to me is my senior comrade. I know time is not on our side, but I want to give you a lion's share of the time to give you assessment of the satires of the 1995 Constitution, but also what fellow colleagues on the panel have commented about what the manifestos addressed on constitutionalism. Because the symbols, each party had its unique symbols. If we go to symbols, someone will come with a pot, and the pot may hide the constitution inside, right? The bus may be in a boot when there is a constitution. So, what is your take?
You forgot to tell us even the umbrella, since it maybe covers you, not to be, it can also cover the constitution. So
the key will lock the office
of the constitution.
The Rusania.
The Rusania has nothing to do with the constitution.
Now people actually there see the constitution. They can actually pick.
You serve it. You
Yes.
put on the Rusania and serve the guests.
We all know the truth.
What I want to say, first and foremost, as we end this show, all the nominees for presidential campaigns, they are all potential. They are credible candidates. That's the first point. Secondly, our Ugandan constitution, we are lacking constitutionalism. It is a big challenge that we are facing. Constitutionalism and implementation of the codification of the constitution. We have been discussing here how we can really eradicate, how we can spread the gospel and tell the masses how they should get to know the constitution, that it is in press. But to tell you, to tell our dear viewers, we are facing a challenge in our country. In our jurisprudence, there is no implementation as it should be of the Constitution of Uganda. I want to borrow the words of the late Justice Honorable Wilson Kanyehamba. He was a constitutional champion. The late used to tell us, you the young jurists, it is incumbent on you to understand that the constitution of the country has lost life. It is incumbent on you to devise ways of how you can really bring back the constitution to play. The current leadership of the country, it has hidden all the aspects of the constitution into play. It's like having a car parked without an engine. This constitution to be given the new engine. Let this car get moving. As we try to teach people how the constitution operates, it should start from actually all the arms of the government. There should be separation of power. A comrade here said that the Electoral Commission is independent. And the face of it all, in our Uganda, the Electoral Commission is not independent.
Okay.
In regards to the constitution.
Its name has the word independent.
Yes.
Its name.
Those are just fallacies. We are no longer we should not again operate in fallacies. We should operate in actual implementations. And let all the jurists, the senior jurists, and the political leaders get to understand this, that we are lacking the engine of our constitution. We should fight for constitutionalization of our constitution. The 30 years of the constitution in operation since 1995, the current government has been in power for now over more than 30 years. That means it is the one that brought this constitution into play. But they have juggled about, they have brought the bubblegum politics, which is too bad. Now, about the change and the issues of manifesto. The manifesto of all the nominees, it is full of bubblegum politics. Why do I say this? We are tired of being lied to. We really want things into play. Now we have the slogans that have been brought right now. People are protesting for votes. Others are protecting their gain. One person would ask a question: which gains are you protecting at this moment when people are incarcerated right now? Is it a trick you're using to protect the gain? We should get away. We should release the incarcerated people, and they should get out of the prisons before we vote out. Secondly, we have been always talking about peace in this country. Yes, the peace is there, but we cannot have peace when there is injustice. Peace without justice, it is a dead one. Let's have justice as it connotes from the supreme law of this country. Let people get out of the prisons, let them get out of cells. Most of them have been really incarcerated for no reason. Let them get out, and they enjoy their rights, their constitutional rights. Those are all the issues of constitutionalism. Then permit me also to tell the dear viewers, we have been always sending words to Honorable Munyagwa Mubaraka. This gentleman is my good friend. First and foremost, he's very capable. The Lusania people are talking about, please let's get time and appreciate his views.
I'll give you some minutes with Alien to reconcile. But the Honorable Munyagwa as a person has been a leader, both local government, central
Actually, Honorable Munyagwa is a good politician.
No, he's the only candidate who has been an MP, who has been a mayor, who has been a councillor in all candidates.
Very capable candidate.
So, in the interest of time, I would like to appreciate you, our guests today, for really sharing your views on our presidential nominees. All words used like jokers, are not words of Civic Space TV or CCG, but they are individual statements of those individuals who made them. So we want to call it an afternoon, and we shall pick it up from here. Maybe before we conclude, closing remarks, starting with our boss at the extreme end.
Thank you very much. My closing remarks are, I would love to wish the presidential aspirants, the ones who were nominated, good luck as they embark on their journey of campaigns. but I pray for peaceful elections. It really worries me that in this season of elections, people are really, really tensed. They are worried. People are worried about their businesses. People are worried about their life. People are worried of dying. Do we really have to kill? Do we really have to beat? I really urge the presidential aspirants plus the security forces to kindly, this time round, do a favor to the country and give us peaceful elections. Thank you very much.
If they have ears, they have heart.
Thank you so much for this wonderful show. I will still submit in regards to what she has asked. We definitely need peaceful elections because we definitely have families that are behind. You might not be the one involved, but a friend can be involved, a relative. So we definitely pray for peaceful elections. And just a small submission on the Rusania thing. I definitely believe he's a good candidate, but maybe for another post. So I think that's where the whole issue came in from.
Janet,
Maybe.
let's come to you. The viewers of the Common Man's Party, the all words used are for Mr. Luaga and our show as the Youth Round Table.
Thank you so much. My final remarks. I call upon all Ugandans from all the political parties not to take part in violence. I call upon you people to have calm campaigns. It is possible, very possible, for that thing to happen. Just be calm and not be violent. And then I also encourage the young people, the youth. We are the powerful and vibrant. Please, let's stay away from violence. We have a lot to achieve. We have a lot of people who have hope in us. Let us not lose our lives in a short period thing that can actually hurt people who have put in a lot in our lives and all that. Yeah, so thank you so much. It was a nice time here and sharing with these land people. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
You have sat in between lawyers
Yes.
and became legal parastate of some kind. Our conclusive remarks are from you, Mr. Nasasi.
Yeah, my parting shots would be us understanding the factor of time. Time is a friend to change. Time is a friend to the electorate. We have fought ever since some of us were brought into this world. And also the electorate. I compel you, please, I request you, just be patient. And the factor of change, it connotes or it applies to all political parties and all nominees. Let it be NRM. NRM, you have a chance of making change in your structures. The chance is there. If at all you go and go, you lead us in the next term.
We bring a new president next time.
The National Unity Platform, there is an aspect of change and time. They should be implemented in all drives, in all campaigns, and all to the day of swearing in the next president. I say this for God and my country.
Thank you very much. It has been the Youth Roundtable. See you again next week, same place, same time.